Dear ladies and gentlemen, welcome again to the analysis of YOLENO TV. I'm glad you're well from wherever you're watching this channel. Now, Gachagua used a wrong story to force a narrative that Uhuru had goods to steal from his farm in the Northland city, and also used a false narrative on Raila Amolo Odinga that Raila Amolo Odinga had goons to steal from his East Africa Spectra. Details about these two thefts or details about these two incidences, we've shared them in this channel and I'm not going to repeat them. But Gachagua, while at a rally in Malava, that is within Kakamega County, used an example of the French massacre to force a narrative on Uhuru and Raila. Before we go further into this analysis, please subscribe to this channel and give us a like. Please sit by, and I want to share a video so that you can check this video and get to understand what Gachagua said.
I want to talk to my elder brother and friend, President Uhuru Kenyatta. I have sent you a message through your emissary. Please, if you want to talk to us because you don't want to pay taxes, if you want to talk to us so that you don't return the money that you put abroad, you don't have to cause violence through Raila Odinga. You can call us for an honest conversation, and then we can discuss whether you pay tax, whether you don't, how, nini, tunaweza kubaliana. It is also good for me to tell you, as you finance violence, violence is unpredictable. Many times, it comes to consume the financiers. Those young people you are sending to loot property and paying them, when they are through with looting property for the small people and there is nothing remaining, you know what they will do. I'd like you to take time, President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga, if you have time. You read the history on the French Revolution of 1789, if you have time. As the revolution was going on, the peasants decided that the bourgeoisie and the aristocracy should be beheaded. And they started beheading them. Along the way, people were getting impatient that the beheading was too slow and they were craving for blood. A man called Robespierre, to sort out that issue, created a machine called the guillotine. And with that machine, the protesters were able to behead people very quickly. And as they beheaded more and more people, they became impatient. The machine was too slow. They wanted a quicker machine. To show their displeasure about the slowness of that machine, they looked for Robespierre and guillotined him. You have heard me.
So from that video, you can tell that Gachagua is literally forcing a narrative that Uhuru and Raila are to blame for the mayhem, for the goons who invaded their relevant farms. While Gachagua was delivering this message, on the other part, William Ruto was taken through a series of questions which forced him to admit that the cost of living is indeed high. And that interview was handled by Richard Walker of the Deutsche Welle. So Richard Walker asked William Ruto, why is it that the cost of living is high? And why is it that the cost of living is high, but in spite of the fact that the cost of living is high, he has still decided to increase the taxation? That was a question that was directed to William Ruto. But if you check the response that William Ruto gave, you find that it was pretty evasive, and it's like he didn't want that question to be asked, and literally tried to say that the opposition are taking advantage of that scenario. It is pretty funny because there is a part where Richard Walker says that could it be that IMF is the reason why you had to increase this tax, so that you can increase the collection? Could that be the reason? And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, IMF is a United Nations specialized agency founded at the Bretton Woods Conference in 1944 to secure international monetary cooperation, to stabilize currency exchange rates, and to expand international liquidity. So that is all about IMF. So let me share a small video so that you can get to understand what Richard Walker asked and how William Ruto responded. Please just check this video.
But of course, because cost of living is a pregnant issue, is a emotive issue, our competitors are trying to take advantage of it. But I think the people of Kenya are a lot wiser.
I mean, your critics have said that you have so far not been able to deliver on your promises to lower prices, and you have been increasing taxation. This connects with discussions with the IMF. Do you feel that you're being squeezed by the IMF into raising these taxes, or do you stand by the taxing?
So from the video, Richard Walker is literally trying to say that IMF could be pushing for more tax collection by forcing Ruto to increase tax. That's according to Richard Walker. I mean, this makes sense. But again, you will realize that during the days of campaign, those days, William Ruto did not admit that this high cost of living is attributed to other factors like the war in Ukraine, factors like Corona. So back then, he attacked President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, the former, and made President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, the former, appear as if he's a president who doesn't understand how to deal with the issues that are affecting Kenyans. But so that's why you find that the likes of Pauline Njoroge, a blogger also, has reminded William Ruto and told William Ruto this. When you see people with standing tear gas and opening up their chests in front of armed policemen, then you have a reason to get very, very worried. They are simply telling you we have nothing to lose. Hauling these guys to cells has no meaning. Pain has no meaning to them. Not at all. The demands being made may make sense to us here, but they do to the hundreds of protesters out there. These demands are usually very irritating to these in government. We have been there, but these protesters have a much right to their opinions, just like the good elites here. These protesters are equally as Kenyans as you are, and their rights protected by the constitutions. The most logical thing to do is therefore to listen to what they are saying without hardline positions. Whether or not the government cedes to their demands or not is another matter. Actually, the government does not have to give in to their demands, but it needs to talk to its citizens. By even pretending to listen, government will have bought itself time, and like they say, time is a true narcotic of pain, because it is with time that the pain either dies or you get used to live with the pain. Simple logic. So these protesters have no owners. The owners are the ones who speak their language, a language that gives them hope from the desperate situation they are in. We saw that during campaigns with the Hustler Nation narrative. Logical presentation of economic blueprints and development agenda is not of interest to them. Their main interest is now. Where is money for affordable unga? 7 months ago, those in governments were saying exactly the same thing. The guys in opposition are saying now. Only the shoe has changed the foot. It is actually very interesting to hear President Ruto say that his competitors are taking advantage of the emotive issue of the current cost of living. Isn't this exactly what he did during the campaign? Ladies and gentlemen, that is Pauline Njoroge trying to remind William Ruto about the past campaign days, about how he used to treat Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, when Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta literally tried to defend himself that he is not the reason why the high cost of living is not the only reason why the cost of living imeenda juu. So that time when Uhuru made those kind of comments, Ruto rubbished them. So that's what Paul Njoroge is trying to remind Ruto about, what he used to say and what he's saying now. So ladies and gentlemen, kindly share what your thoughts are below the comment section. And once again, I'd like to urge you to stay safe and stay blessed until we catch up again in our next analysis.